Wondering what talents Havoc Demon Hunter might play in Dragonflight? Well, in this video, we're going to go over some builds that I think it's possible that Havoc Demon Hunter will play when Dragonflight releases. Before we begin, I just want to say that a lot of my viewers aren't subscribed, so if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, or you see my videos all the time and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. You know, it really helps me out. We just hit 800 subscribers, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the support on my videos. But yeah, if you see my videos all the time or you like the content, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. Now, enjoy the video. Alright, so we're here on beta, and today we're going to go over potential builds I think that Havoc could be running in Dragonflight whenever it comes out, based on current, like, state of talents and all that stuff. Big disclaimer, I'm going to comment this down below too and just pin it because this is really important. This is very early on. Tuning hasn't been done yet. A lot of talents could and probably will change, and things are not set in stone. We don't have sims, we don't have anything like that. This is based off of testing I've done myself, testing others have done, and what I think could happen based on things right now. Again, things can and probably will change. This is just for fun, just to look at what could be happening at an early stage and all that. So we're going to start off with what I think could happen for Mythic Plus, then we'll go over to Raid, and we'll talk about everything. So we'll start with blank talents here. I guess I could have done the Clash Tree. Clash Tree I think is going to be pretty much the same for most scenarios. You're going to want to run it down to Fellblade or Aura of Pain. In AoE, you probably grab Bouncing Glaive, but again, don't have to. We'll grab it for now. Master the Glaive, Ildarting Knowledge, Rush of Chaos, Soul Rending, Demonic, of course. Chaos Nova, you're going to put 2 points in Infernal Armor just so you can grab Sigil Silence. Sink 1 up into Sigil Flame for Fury. Blur, Erratic Fellheart, Desperate Instincts, Darkness, The Hunt, Unnatural Malice, Darkness Cooldown Reduction, Sigil Misery, Damage, and then Silence. Oh, I got one more, so we'll put it in Consume Magic. Okay, that's out of the way. You probably run that for most. You might swap these two out, but realistically, most things aren't going to change in here. Unless you're running Legion Decree, then you'll probably drop some points out of stuff down here, and you'll probably run further down into this part down there, like that. We'll just reselect these real quick. Anyway, so over here we actually have a lot of interesting stuff. So we'll start with AoE, what I think is going to happen, then we'll talk about some variations on it. So I'm always picking Demon Blades personally just because it's easier to use. We have a lot more GCDs that we need to be filling. And this is just a pretty good Fury generation. If you run Insatiable Hunger, you have to be pushing Demon Blades, Demon's Bite a lot, which fills up your GCDs with stuff that you don't want to be pushing. And generally, we have enough Fury that you're always going to be pushing something. Fell Fireheart's really good in AoE. First Blood's really good in AoE. Dancing with Fate's crazy, and so is Critical Chaos. Now, from here, we're going to leave the rest of it up alone at the top. You're pretty much always going to be taking these things in AoE. We'll come back later and talk about different variations. I think you're always going to be taking these stuff on the left side here. I think you're also always going to be taking the stuff on the right side here for AoE. And from here, you kind of have choice. So personally, I think 2 points in Blind Fury is really good. Then I also think grabbing Burning Hatred and Furious Throws is good to unlock the bottom. However, there have been some builds where people are going down into improved Chaos Strike as well as improved Fell Rush. Chaos Strike gives you some prio damage, and Fell Rush adds up damage over the course of the dungeon. I think that Burning Hatred and Furious Throws are really good. Burning Hatred gives you a lot of Fury. I think Furious Throws actually does really good with Soul Rend, which personally I think is good to take. But again, we'll get there. So for now, we'll put our points into Burning Hatred and Furious Throws. We'll come back to it. From there, I think Momentum's a lock. If you don't want to play Momentum, you can play Chaos Theory. However, you will be losing out on some damage. But again, not the end of the world if you hate Momentum that much. But I think Momentum is a lock. Know Your Enemy is a lock. It's one of our best talents. And Essence Break, and then Rage Fire. So from here, we have some points to throw around. Plus these 2 points to kind of move around where you want. I personally believe that Soul Rend, Morag Bionics, and then Any Means Necessary, and Furious Gaze could end up being pretty good. You also could run Fart of the Flame or Elysian Decree. You also could drop those out and grab Glaive Tempest. I think some combination of that, of those, or of this, are going to end up being our best AoE build. Any Means Necessary scales really well with all these Rage Fire stuff, as well as the Hunt over here, which does a lot of damage. Fart of the Flame is a good explosion, also giving you the healing and also giving you the soul. Legion Decree is a little bit more bursty, working with the Mastery there. And then obviously if you want a little bit more cleave, you can go down into Glaive Tempest. That is one option. You also, of course, can drop out the Throw Glaive things, which people aren't fully convinced on, and you run it down more of a mid build with Restless Huntler, Cycle of Hatred, and you grab those talents down there that kind of give you more often benefit to I-Beam. So we would kind of do, oh sorry, not these, it'd be this. Kind of grab something like that, getting more I-Beams out, getting your crit I-Beams, and then whenever you leak Doom Form, you get more Blade Dance damage. That is also a possibility. This one hasn't been tested as much. Personally, I think that something like, let me just unselect some points here. Personally, I think something like with these throw glaives and any means necessary is going to end up being kind of our best build in most scenarios for M+. But again, you know, really up in the air, really kind of no one's really sure. And there's a lot of different builds you can do, and they're all pretty enjoyable. So I'll apply these changes and I'll show you a little bit. There is one thing that Throglaive kind of does muddle up your rotation a little bit, but I don't think it's too bad. It gives you a lot of good options. So, you know, you have a lot of options here. You want to throw out your glaives, get your wounds on people, get your things going. Burst is going to be I-Beam into Vengeful Retreat, into Essence Break, into Blade Dance, and then you want to rip the Hunt while you're in meta for that haste bonus. The reason we're doing I-Beam into Vengeful Retreat, into Essence Break, is that you want the initiative buff, which doesn't last very long, 25 seconds, for the Essence Break and the Death Sweep. And that's kind of just your standard rotation there. Throw out your glaives when you can, always using your Immolation Aura when you get it. Blade Dance, use all your buttons, yada yada yada. It's pretty fun. There's lots of movement and motion going around. We haven't gotten a demon proc yet, but if you get a demon, obviously chuck your glaive, kill it. You get a lot of damage that way. You get a nice little explosion. Things are pretty spread out here, but that's kind of what like our AoE is going to be looking like. If you're dropping out of the glaive stuff and you're going more towards the mid, so we'll get our points here. I believe that's what I had. Double check. Oh, no. So you'll get your points more towards the mid. It's really going to be a lot similar to BFA or Shadowlands Demon Hunter, where your burst is going to be the same. Apply your wounds, get this going, and then you want to I-Beam into Vengeful Retreat, Essence Break, Blade Dance, use your Fel Rush, and just keep using your buttons, reducing the cooldown on I-Beam, and getting that really nice and low. So those are kind of like the two different kind of playstyles for AoE that I think are going to happen. Of course, improved Chaos Strike and improved Fel Rush could be better than Burning Hatred and another talent point down here. Looks and Kill will lose a lot of value as we gain more gear, so keep an eye on that. This will lose out on value pretty heavily in later patches. And then finally, you know, personally, again, I think that going down this right side with glaives is a little better. But we'll end up seeing that what's better. We don't have M+ to test yet. We don't have anything like that to test. But there's a lot of different variety and builds you can use for M+, and there's a lot of different ways that it can be built. A lot of different things you can do. So I think that's pretty exciting. I think we have a lot of options in M+. And now we're going to look at Raid. All right, so for Raid, it's going to start off pretty similar up top. We're going to grab Demon's Blades again, just for the GCDs that you don't have to be using on anything. You're going to grab Improved Chaos Strike. You're going to grab First Blood. You're going to grab Demonic Appetite, put points Critical Chaos, and Dancing with Fate. And then we're down here. You're always going to run left. I think left are definitely just our best talents. You're going to grab Trail of Ruin, Blind Fury, Furious Gaze, probably Chaos Transformation, and Looks Can Kill. And then, honestly, you can just put a point wherever. You put it into Improved Fel Rush if you want. You can put it into Growing Inferno if you want. You can put it into Fel Fireheart if you want. There's a lot of different places you can throw that last point. We'll just throw it in Isolated Prey for now. We'll pretend it's an entirely pure single target scenario, right? And we'll grab Momentum, Know Your Enemy, Essence Break, we'll grab Restless Hunter, 2 points Cycle Hatred, and Shattered Destiny. And now we have 2 points left. You can kind of pick where they go. Let's say we don't need Isolated Prey, right? We could throw 2 points into Growing Inferno, pick up Relentless Onslaught, and then kind of fill out the tree as it was before. So realistically, I think that this is kind of going to be how our builds end up looking. I think you're gonna grab Shattered Destiny for single target. I think you're gonna grab Essence Break for single target, and then really I think you're just going to have 3 points to kind of put where you want. One of those points has to go up top here somewhere. You can put it in Isolated Prey. You can put a point in Growing Inferno. You can put it in some of the stuff up top here, whatever. And then you're just gonna fill out, grab those 2 capstones, and then you have the other 2 points to do with as you want. So you'll have kind of 3 points to fiddle around with, move around into different scenarios. Let's say it's Cleave, right? Then maybe you can do this, and you can drop a point somewhere else up top. You can drop out of Demonic Appetite maybe, or drop out of Looks Can Kill if you want Cleave for Rage Fire. But realistically, you know, I don't think we're going to have as many options or as much flexibility in single target, really. I think it's going to be a lot of set in stone. I think Shattered Destiny is going to be really good in single target with Demonic, especially. And then if they tune Demonic Origins to be better than it currently is, you could maybe see more of that run instead. However, right now it's just not tuned good enough to compete with Demonic, so you're going to pick Demonic in most cases. Really, this just gives you really good burst options with your Essence Break every 40 seconds. It gives you really good sustained damage as well with Shattered Destiny. So you have that ability to kind of burst down adds that come up, as well as the ability to just do really good sustained damage on a boss or a target that you don't have to go too far away from. And then you have the option to tech into Cleave as well. You know, you can drop your points at the Guardian Inferno, you can grab Chaos Theory, you can grab Glaive Tempest. Chaos Theory as well is going to be pretty decent in single target, just with that crit on Chaos Strike, especially with Know Your Enemy. But the core of the build is going to stay the same here, with that extra point you get to spend in the top few rows. Really, that's it. I don't think anything's necessary, and I don't think the Glaive stuff is going to be that good in single target. I think you have better options, and I think it's just going to muddle the rotation, because, frankly, in single target, Throw Glaive doesn't do a lot of damage, and it's not going to compete with Chaos Strike if you take Furious Throws, because that Fury is just better off spent using Chaos Strike, right? So in terms of rotation and gameplay and all that, it's not too different from how it was in the past. You know, it's not like AoE where you have a lot more glaives thrown in, you have a lot more other stuff. It's going to be pretty similar. So obviously you want to start with your I-Beam. You want to hit that, Essence Break, do this. Then you can throw out the Hunt. You can meta, reset your cooldown, use I-Beam again. I know I'm only hitting one target, but I'm just kind of demonstrating. And then you just go back into your normal rotation where you're using Annihilation and Death Sweep whenever it's on cooldown. And just kind of slapping it at a target, using this in conjugation with probably Blade Dance to get that crit, and then your Annihilations, grabbing up your Immolation Aura. And if you ever run out of Fury, which you probably won't, you do have Fellblade, and you have stuff like Sigil Flame. Kind of put down, just grab more Fury, using your I-Beam, using all your fun stuff that we've known and loved for a little while. It's a little bit more engaging, a little bit better than past iterations, because you have that momentum damage. You have the ability to do Vengeful Retreat and Essence Break, and you have kind of the gameplay of keeping up your Metamorphosis as much as possible. So it's a lot more engaging than past Demon Hunter forms, right? Like, you're not just keeping up your brand, which is really poor gameplay in my opinion. It wasn't very fun. But this is a lot more engaging. There's a lot more stuff to do in the rotation, a lot more movement around, even though it's just more boring than our AoE builds in general. But yeah, that's it for Raid. I don't think there's too much more to build on at this moment. I think there could be some interesting options with Far to the Flame. If you want to throw some points down that way, maybe you take out some points at the top or in the middle here, like Looks Can Kill. If that loses value, or Chaos Transformation, that loses value, and you can go into Relentless Onslaught, Bionics, and Far to the Flame. Because these will eventually end up losing value as we go further in the tier when we get more crit. Really, we only take Chaos Transformation to get to Looks Can Kill, because Chaos Transformation, pretty bad, honestly. You don't want to spend points in this if you don't have to, but we have to get to Looks Can Kill. But yeah, a lot of variation, especially in M+. A lot of different choices you can make, a lot of different builds you can do. So I'm really looking forward to how Demon Hunter ends up. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm looking forward to testing a bunch of different stuff as we get M+ and raid testing on beta. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's kind of it today. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any builds that I didn't cover that maybe you think could be fun or could be pretty interesting, debated on tuning. Of course, final disclaimer, if you're watching this far still, everything could change depending on how things tune. Everything could change depending on how talents change. Any big changes, I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, so thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you really liked it. It really is going to help me out, and I'll see you guys next time.